Hello, everybody. It's John Johnston, Corn Nation, with your 2023 Nebraska football defensive overview. We're looking at the defense, the side of the ball that stops people from scoring points, hopefully. So we have a new defensive coordinator on account of we have an all new of staff, and the guy's name is Tony White. He comes to us from Syracuse. He's in his 17th year of coaching, which means he's an experienced guy. He is going to run a 3-3-5, something we've never seen at Nebraska, something that's brand new to all of us, and something that's got a lot of people in a tizzy about whether or not it's going to work in the Big Ten because, the 3 at the beginning stands for 3 defensive linemen. You certainly can't stop a strong running game like that of Minnesota with only 3 defensive linemen, or can you? And that's the key. I think if you look over the past few years, Nebraska ran a 4-3 or a 3-4 or whatever we ran. We really didn't stop a lot of people anyway. So I'm not sure if the 3-3-5 nomenclature really makes a big difference in that. It's more about being physical. And that's the key to Nebraska's defense, I think, in 2023. If you had one word, it'd be physicality, because we're going to go into 2023. Our first game is going to be against the Minnesota Gophers here in Minneapolis. And Minnesota has beat us up over the past few years. I mean, physically beat us up with a run game. They get ahead and they just keep pounding the ball. And Nebraska has not been able to beat them. Now, granted, the former staff didn't beat much of anybody. But that's going to be the key, isn't it? Is the Big Ten West teams we're going to face. Minnesota, Illinois, who's also going to have a physical run game. Iowa, if they can straighten out their offensive line issues and maybe field an offense, they again will be a physical team. Northwestern tends to rock fight their way down the field, and maybe not as physical as some of the other teams in the Big Ten West. But if you remember the last time we saw Northwestern, they ran the ball at us like 28 times straight, or 18. It didn't matter. They ran over us at the end of the game. And we have largely the same players coming back to field the defense. So, again, can this new coaching staff take those same players and turn them into a physical, hard-nosed defense that mostly doesn't give up points? And keep in mind, nobody on Matt Rhule's staff has ever run the 3-3-5 besides Tony White. So it's not just the players that will be learning the nomenclature of the 3-3-5. It will be all the coaches. So we will go into a new year learning all new stuff. It'll be interesting to see how well we do against the Minnesota in the first game of the season. So who's gone from 2022? Well, Garrett Nelson. I know there's a lot of people that thought that Garrett Nelson was more flash than production, but he was the 4th leading tackler on the team. He was the sack leader on the team with 5.5 sacks, and he was the leader in tackles for loss. And he was fun. Ernest Hausman, who was a rising star linebacker, decided to transfer to Michigan. I wish him the best of luck, but only to a certain point. O'Shawn Mathis led the team in quarterback hurries. He also, like Garrett Nelson, has decided to try his wares in the NFL. Key returners. Top 3 tacklers are back. Luke Reimer, the linebacker, Miles Farmer, and Isaac Gifford all returned, so it's always good when you're returning production. Newcomers, we have some transfer portal guys. M.J. Sherman, linebacker Chief Borders, safety Corey Collier, and a JUCO guy, defensive lineman Kai Wallen. All 4 of them look like they could contribute. I know people are pretty excited about the 2 linebackers, M.J. Sherman and Chief Borders, but Kai Wallen sounds interesting in that he was one of the top-rated JUCO guys coming into Nebraska. So what are the strengths of the defense? Well, the defensive secondary pretty much has everyone coming back. Last year, we saw the rise of Malcom Hartzog. He became kind of a star seem to be around the ball a lot, which is a good thing for a defensive guy to do. Tommi Hill, another corner. Tommi Hill started out a receiver. I think he's very athletic. I think that he can, it's going to be interesting watching him. If I had to pick a person on the defense, I was interested in seeing what they can do. I think it's Tommi Hill because to me, he seems like a guy who wants to find a spot, get on the field, and show what he can do to get to the next level. So it'll be interesting to see what he does in 2023. Other corners are Quentin Newsom and Braxton Clark. Safeties, Marquez Buford and Isaac Gifford. I think the defensive secondary is pretty well set. Linebackers, Luke Reimer's returns, Borders, Sherman, I already mentioned them, Nick Heinrich. We have a lot of linebackers, and it's going to be a matter of who gets on the field and, are they going to learn the defense? Are we going to make minimal mistakes in this new defense? And can we get some sacks? That'd be nice. Some guy that pressures quarterbacks and chases them all over the field and makes their lives a living hell. I would like to see that from this defense. If you had to pick one weakness, it is the defensive line. I think we just don't have enough guys. On the other hand, there's that 3. So how many defensive linemen do you really need? I think you need a lot because you are going to play in the Big Ten. It's known for being physical. The idea of a traditional Big Ten offense is kind of gone by the wayside. There aren't that many teams that really run under center all the time and run with a fullback, but they're still physical. Defensive line, Ty Robinson returns. He's a key. Nash Hutmacher, whose name I will forever mispronounce as Nutmasher. And maybe he can do that this year. Texas A&M transfer Elijah Judy is an interesting guy to look at. I didn't mention him earlier. And then there's Stephon Wynn. Defensive line, can these guys be physical? Can they stand up to the running game that we're going to see at Minnesota? I know I'm going to focus on the Minnesota game because it's first. And I hate losing to Minnesota because I live here and I have to hear it from all these people all the time. Overall, what do we think about the 2023 defense? Well, we're going to wait and see. That's really what it is. I think one interesting thing that Matt Rhule has said is he is going to play 18 to 20 guys on defense. Not just the 11 that may be out there or 12 or 13. He's going to play 18 to 20. He said that. It was in the newspaper, although we don't get newspapers anymore. But building depth, I think, is going to be key to standing up with this over the season. That is the 2023 Nebraska defense. I'm interested in hearing your takes on what you think about the defense coming this season. Do you think we'll play well, better? Can we get worse? Can we have turnovers? Can we have sacks? Can we have excitement? Can we have players that make, award lists? Are there any award list players on this team? Award list finalists? That's what I'm wondering. I'm John Johnston, Corn Nation. Please subscribe and welcome to my channel. Thank you for listening.